President Peter Marlette Jr. is in studio with us. Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me, guys.
Your second time here.
Yeah.
You're back. Mm-hmm. Welcome back.
Thank you. Love coming out to the studio.
Question on everyone's minds, how to go in golf simulator playoffs for you guys?
Well, we actually didn't even make the playoffs.
Okay.
It was a disaster. Are you guys still going?
No, we lost our first match. I hit 2 balls out of bounds on the first hole. I'm not very good with pressure.
Okay.
So when Rory hits a bad shot, I'm always just like, yeah, I get that. I'm a simulator golf league first shot out of bounds kind of guy. So
yeah. Well, at least you got there.
That's right. That's right. Now we're just waiting for the weather to get nice enough to play. Actually outside.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, thanks for being here. So the news came down last week.
Yep.
And the stadium, people maybe have seen the renderings by now. So big news. This was kind of, something you'd updated us on, looking at a couple of sites, and now things are moving forward. You've got your site and I see the story at USL's website. So pro soccer to Buffalo.
Yeah. And so the big step, and we talked about this last time I was here, the major step for all these teams, the defining moment for professional soccer teams in the U.S. is when they get their stadium. And we announced last Friday at 11:30 a.m. that we had gotten our stadium. We've acquired the land on Elk Street, 427 Elk Street, and our building. We've got our architects. We've been doing behind the scenes work for at least a month leading up to this point in kind of the pre-development phases, and now we're full speed ahead with our team at that site. And it's a huge moment for us.
So let's start with timelines. I mean, people in the area are watching a massive football stadium be built over the course of like 2 years.
Yep.
How long will it take to get this stadium built?
Yes, so this is it's unique to Buffalo, but not unique to the national and global stadium world. So we are going to be building a modular stadium. We're working with a company called 6-5 Stadium. They are out of Canada, actually, and these modular stadiums are fully constructed locally by, local workers, local builders, local architects, everything. We've got a local team on the ground here, but it is prefabricated elsewhere and then shipped in pieces to site to be constructed. So these stadiums, I was in Vancouver about a month ago now visiting with 6-5 to look at some of the stuff that they've built and some of their capabilities. One of the stadiums I toured, which was about the same size as ours, a little smaller, a little more bare bones than we're going to do, but was pretty nice. They put that up in 4 months.
Wow. So quick.
I mean, yeah. Exactly. Listen, I'm not anticipating a 4-month timeline for us. We want shovels in the ground this summer, and as long as we do that, we're in great shape.
Built, and then it's almost kind of sounds like it's like a puzzle that you put together.
Yeah, exactly. So it's prefabricated, then shipped to site in those pieces, and then the workers on the ground piece it together. Yeah.
Wow. So capacity is 7,600?
So seated capacity is 7,600, and if you'll look at the renderings, you'll notice an open end line right now, and that we can choose to open up for general admission, which would add significantly more capacity, get us closer to that 10,000 capacity number that we think is the right number in this market for now. We expect that this will grow, and that's another advantage of modular fabrication. We're working with Labella Associates, who's for our architects. They're the USL's preferred architecture group, but they're a local. They have a strong local presence here in Western New York. This is being designed in a way that it can be expanded upon easily and quickly.
Okay, because one of the things Joe and I talked about this week on hearing this news was that USL does have a standard for is it a population? A capacity number for their top flight division.
So yeah, that's actually that. I'm gonna take a step back here to explain a little more. So USL announced about a month ago that it would be forming a first division league. Currently, USL Championship, where we're coming in, is the first division of USL professional soccer, but it's technically the second division of pro soccer in the U.S. So USL, like I said, about a month ago, approached the U.S. Soccer Federation to form a first division league that would be on the same level as Major League Soccer in the hierarchy of U.S. soccer. And along with that, they would have 3 fully professional divisions and would have promotion and relegation within those divisions. And yes, to get back to the stadium question, according to the U.S. Soccer Federation today, for a first division sanctioned club, you need to have a stadium capacity of 15,000.
Is that How that sounds on the surface is if the team was to earn promotion to the top flight. Let me start with, you mentioned there were 3 divisions?
Yes, so there's USL League One, which is the third division right now, USL Championship, which is where we're coming in, and then they will be adding first division.
So it would be the first season would be in the second, basically the second league?
Well, so that's going to start in 2028.
In 2028.
So our first,
So by then it might be...
Right, we'd be in the first division of USL when we start, but come 2028, there will be this additional league.
Gotcha. So basically it's
that you then earn promotion to.
Exactly.
It's the continued growth of USL as an organization. They're creating a top tier that everybody is able to play into right now.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
So that's all there. When it comes to the USL promotion relegation, there was another big announcement from USL. It's going to be unique to American sports to have that kind of format.
Yeah, absolutely. And with the growth of soccer in the U.S., you go to Mesquite or the Banshee or any number of bars now throughout this area on a Saturday or Sunday morning, and they're packed with people watching English Premier League, German League, whatever it may be. And people have become much more aware and interested in that more global model, which is earn your way into the top division and earn your keep in the top divisions. And that is what USL is instituting here. And actually, I should say, shows like Ted Lasso and Welcome to Wrexham also educated people on this, and it's, the country's calling for it.
Yeah. So I want to get to the global idea a little bit more later, but first, on the site itself, like how the site was chosen, what is in the neighborhood. I know Encore's got their complex going in. I'm always talking to the team at Encore about how that's going. Yep. So you've got a little district down there. I would say, my reading the reaction, Peter, to the site announcement was some disappointment about things not being downtown, which is a common theme in Buffalo. Mm-hmm. Everybody wants things downtown, and things just they don't end up there. Do you see value in a district, because you're not going to be completely on an island by yourself here?
Oh, absolutely. So, the powerhouse is already there, and it hosted a major event. The team at 26 Productions hosted a big event there this past weekend. It's hosting weddings and events constantly, bringing tens of thousands of people to that area as it is. But yeah, the Encore Golf announcement, building Shot Club Social literally as the neighbor to the site that we're going to be on, all of a sudden, and then plus our stadium, which will also be a concert venue, festival venue, etc. All of a sudden, you've got this block that was completely industrial not too long ago, with a ton of mixed-use recreation and a ton of entertainment. And it's also really important to keep in mind here, this isn't Orchard Park. This is 5 minutes from the heart of downtown Buffalo. Larkinville, which might be my favorite neighborhood in the city, it's 2 minutes away. It's less than a mile away. And I'm engaging with a lot of business owners in Larkinville about how we can create that game day experience there, maybe through shuttling. I'm working with Go Bike Buffalo to talk about a biking program and stuff like that. So yes, having our own little independent entertainment district with Encore and Powerhouse, that's awesome. But we're also connected very closely to Larkinville and then very closely to downtown.
Yeah. How important was that for you? We had spoken to you about other sites too, having a stadium site that was, if not right downtown, like near it and within the city limits.
It had to be. That was one thing that you look at other markets, other cities, other clubs who have done this throughout the country, and it's just it becomes so obvious that you need to be in the city that you're representing. And then we had CSL International, a major firm, do a market survey that told us exactly that as well. So no, we were, when I started this process a year and a half ago or so, there were 25 sites on the list that were all over, surrounding areas of Buffalo. We quickly realized it was going to have to be in the city.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. On the stadium itself, so for people that are wondering like what these are like, it's a smaller stadium. The potential for what's capacity for mixed use, multi-use kind of thing, because and to that point, In this process, how many of these types of stadiums, these size stadiums, were you able to see to kind of get draw inspiration from, see how they fit into a community?
Yeah, I mean, over the years, I've built my career doing this. I've been to countless stadiums throughout the U.S. and throughout the world, much bigger than what we're building, and also some smaller, very similar to this size. And creating an atmosphere is the most important thing. You can have a beautiful 60,000 seat stadium, but if you're only getting 20,000 people in there, it feels cavernous. It feels empty. If you've got a tighter stadium, with people tight to the sidelines, and we've got our safe standing section behind one of our goals, the south end line. That's going to create the atmosphere. That's going to be people with drums, people with flags, people going nuts, and getting everybody else in the stadium feeding off that, because we're going to be tight. We're going to be close together. So the stadium capacity, as I said, seating capacity 7,600. That's going to include corporate suites. That's going to include premium sections. That's going to include the safe standing, party decks, etc. It's going to have all different types of levels of experience at different price points. But then there's also the open end line right now that if we open up can be a GA section if needed, could be additional suites if needed. That's kind of a blank canvas, but we're also leaving it there so that we can bring a stage and build it there, because we do expect concerts, festivals, etc. And then, anywhere from 5,000 to 15,000, depending on how we configure it, could be that capacity.
Yeah, I'm happy to hear that too. I'm sure you've run into this more than I have, but I just went to a game, Charlotte FC, cool. And that's a giant stadium, football stadium. The only other MLS game I had been to was in Nashville. Mm-hmm. And there might have been the same amount of people in those two games, but one atmospherically just felt totally different than the other.
That's exactly right. There probably were the same amount of people, but
right. When you have the whole upper bowl just completely empty.
Yep. Just changes the experience.
Vibe. Yeah.
So with regard to the planning of this, do you have price points? It might be early in the game for that, but we're about to enter a time where the Bills are moving into a new stadium. People are going to be paying more prices for maybe a family that wants to go to another sporting event. The Bisons, the Bandits, the Sabres, and pro soccer here. What ballpark is there a ballpark to kind of get to?
Yeah, I mentioned that there are a bunch of different seating options. I will say that in our budgeting, we're planning for an average ticket cost of about $32. But what's really important to that, especially in creating the atmosphere, and as I said, we need to pick a stadium site that is accessible to a bunch of different people, to everybody, through a bunch of different methods of transportation, which we did. And now we need to price it in a way that anybody can come out. So I do expect us to have a less expensive ticket price, get in the door ticket price of around $15 per ticket, give or take. And then, like I said, there will be suites, there will be premium sections. If you want that elevated experience, that's on offer too.
What about it? I've had actually a couple friends ask me this question about becoming an ultra and timelines for stuff like that. For those who know, the flag bearers in the crazy section of the crowd. How far away is that type of stuff?
So what we're doing right now, we've opened up on our website. Just go to buffaloprosoccer.com, the ticketing section. We've opened up our founding membership program, which is you place a season ticket deposit for $20, and we do ask in there you to pick what section you are thinking about. It doesn't lock you into that section when it actually comes time. But one of those is the safe standing section. And the safe standing section behind the goal, that is where the ultras, that is where the supporters groups, that is where the people who want to have the drums, have the flags, have the horns, whatever it may be, that's where they're going to be congregating. So that's what I would encourage. And my hope, through our town halls and stuff like that, is that these groups will form organically. These supporters groups and ultras groups will, of course, work with them and help them and help facilitate however we can. But our hope is that, as it happens in the right places and overseas, they form themselves a little.
Peter Marlette, Buffalo Pro Soccer. How about timelines for first game, colors, uniforms, names, teams?
Yeah.
To me, that sounds like, is that more of the fun part than what this has been? This has been a lot of work.
I love that part.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm excited to keep to get to focus on that part a little bit now that we've reached this stage. So I brought over a year ago for my marketing and PR, the Martin Group, but they also have a phenomenal creative and branding department, and they're working on our creative, on our name, on our colors, on everything like that. But one thing that I have noticed, and it's a frustration of mine, a lot of American pro soccer brands, pro soccer logos, crests, in my opinion, look like they were created by a marketing agency and a sports executive, and really want to avoid that. So in addition to the Martin Group and myself being in these meetings, we've created what we're calling our Creative Council, and it's just 5 creatives, artists, creative professionals from Buffalo, in Buffalo, painters, it's various creative professionals who are in every single branding meeting. They're helping us influence the name, the colors, the logo, everything like that. And I'm letting them drive. Really, they're the ones who are going to put an authentic brand on the field for us.
Can we be in the focus group?
we will definitely have some focus groups. I'd have to see what you produce.
I might not be good for that because every time
he hasn't liked a new team name in professional sports.
The Kraken is bad.
Years.
What do you want from me? The Kraken is bad.
He doesn't like Kraken.
Anyway, but timeline for first season, for first game, for how this is all going.
So our goal has been 2026 USL Championship season, which starts in March, and now with this stadium announcement, we are still on pace for that. So that's what we're pushing towards.
And will that be coordinated with USL? Like, hey, you're on track. All right, put us on the schedule.
That's exactly right. I'm meeting with the league at least weekly, and it's way more often than that.
And then the point I wanted to get to or ask you about the global thing was, you mentioned that U.S. soccer will put this on the level with MLS, that the USL top tier. If it's truly like soccer around the world, will there be any sort of, or if there is already, I apologize for not knowing this, U.S. tournaments where the leagues cross over?
Yeah. So actually, the U.S. Open Cup has existed in the U.S. for over 100 years. It's the FA Cup. It's it's Coppa Italia. It's whatever it is. It is the Open tournament. It's a single elimination tournament. Any team can qualify for it, but all professional teams are required as part of our sanctioning to play in it. And USL clubs have been already, without that first division, performing very well in that tournament recently. Actually, Union Omaha, the USL League One, so third division club that I was general manager of for 3 years prior to taking this role, we've never lost to a club below the MLS level in that tournament. I guess it's they now, but while I was there, we never lost to a club before the MLS level. We went to Soldier Field and beat the Chicago Fire of MLS. We went to Alliance Stadium, which is Minneapolis, Minnesota United of MLS, and we beat them there. Ended up losing in the quarterfinal to Sporting Kansas City that year. But that same year, Sacramento Republic, a USL Championship team, beat, I want to say, 4 MLS teams on their road to the final. So that's happening, and the competition is between USL, League One, and Championship is already tight with MLS in that tournament. I can only imagine what a first division league will produce.
Is it too early to ask about like streaming or TV? Because you see, I've seen USL games on ESPN Plus or maybe even on ESPN.
Yeah.
So where would that be in the timeline?
Yeah. So right now, there's a broadcast and streaming deal in place, a league-wide broadcast and streaming deal in place. So every game's on ESPN Plus. It's also their games on CBS Sports Golazo Network, Paramount Plus, and CBS and ESPN linear national broadcast TV. That I expect that will continue. I don't know if it'll be on those same networks necessarily, though I think it probably will because it's been going very well. Actually, in national broadcast, I believe it was last week's game on CBS. It outperformed the MLS game on Fox in terms of viewership that day. But locally as well, USL, and this is something that's great about the league, do allow local clubs to negotiate their own local broadcast and streaming deals.
Did we talk about or mention the months in which the season actually takes place, during the calendar year?
Right, we haven't yet. So it starts in mid-March, regular season ends at the end of October, and then playoffs in November.
Is there any, I don't actually know how this works for you guys. I kind of know how it does in the Premier League a little bit. Like if mid-March, we've seen snow in mid-March.
Yeah.
Is that a concern at all? It just kind of happens.
It just kind of happens, and as you've seen in the Premier League and other leagues,
sometimes they'll play through it.
Yeah,
sometimes Liverpool had a game postponed earlier in the year.
Right. Yeah. If you get something terrible, you might have to postpone it. But again, I'll speak to Omaha. We had a game, and the field had a foot of snow on it, an early season game, and we shoveled it off and played. It's you play these games, and also we'll be intelligent in our scheduling. Try not to schedule too many home games in the months that we're concerned about.
Sure.
Peter Marlette, Buffalo Pro Soccer. You have a dog in the fight in the Champions League? We're back to the Champions League today.
You know what? I'm a Manchester United fan, so I haven't had a dog in the fight in the Champions League in a long time. I'm watching as a fan.
Did you see Rory's comment about that?
I did, yeah.
He got asked, would he take the green jacket to Old Trafford, and he kind of winced. He's like, if it inspires some better play. He kind of took a shot at his own team. Wow. It's hard not to, though. Right?
Yeah, listen, but you know what? It allows me to watch the Champions League a little more freely and just enjoy it. But no, that
shouldn't he be a Liverpool fan? Like Ireland
he's from Northern Ireland.
That's Liverpool. I mean, all right,
is it?
I mean, yeah.
I saw a graphic of all the players in the field and who their allegiances are to in the Premier League, and there were a lot of
Masters.
Yeah, at the Masters.
Interesting. Yeah. Aston Villa, Paris today, and Dortmund, Barcelona today from the Champions League.
It's a good ones. I'm looking forward to them.
Tomorrow's the big one, Peter.
The big one. They're up 3-0.
We got to get Arsenal through Real. We got to get Arsenal through Real. All right, we're gonna get Arsenal through Real Madrid, and let's go. Well, thanks so much. Congratulations, and keep us posted.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys.
And for anybody that wants to keep track, like BuffaloProSoccer.com, you can. I see there's a link to kind of stay connected.
Yeah, exactly. So that'll sign you up for our mailing list, which we mail out pretty regularly. Also, we're on every social channel.
Right. All right.
At Buff Pro Soccer on X.
Thank you.
Excited to track the progress, and best of luck.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys.
All right, we're going to break in. Jeremy and Joe on WGR.